the Cross Insurance Center has been a great success for Bangor, and that was built and constructed basically in the throes of the Great Recession in 2008, 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And even that, there were some elements that were in the original plan, like a sky bridge across Main Street from the Cross Center to the casino that actually got costed out in the last stages of it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't quite everything that people wanted and planned on, but it's a great building, and it was done by the city in a really tough economic time. This was before my time on the council, but I think it speaks to Bangor in general. People are creative, they're motivated. There's this inherent optimism in Bangor to get things done. I think the Cross Center is a good example of that. The waterfront, the casino, the whole Main Street area.
Yeah.
So
the what has happened in the past decade is crazy. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I remember when I first came back from LA, I think, and I was bartending at the Wigan Courier. It was the only restaurant. Actually, I take that back. I think the Pakistani place was open, and maybe one other, but it was the only place.
Yeah.
And now we have like 15 restaurants downtown.
Yeah.
That happened in a decade.
When I was in Boston, it would have been probably 06, 07, first part of 08. I remember hearing that Patty Murphy's was going to open in downtown Bangor, because I used to always read the BDN online, even though I was in Massachusetts. And I remember thinking, that's really depressing, the idea of going into downtown to drink. that was the perspective back then. Like, you'd go out to the mall area, or you'd go even out by Ground Round, and the idea of going downtown to drink.
Downtown was a bunch of empty buildings.
Yeah, it was like sad to think about doing that.
Which is really ironic now, because I don't know how recent this article was, but I saw an article about the mall being auctioned off. That happened recently, right?
Yeah.
Like a few weeks ago or something?
Just recently, yeah.
Yeah, for $16 million, I guess. So I don't know who bought it or what they're going to do, but it's just funny to see that. And it's not just Bangor. It's all around the country that the downtown revitalization thing is happening. But I'm so glad it's happening. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, it wasn't by accident in Bangor either. It was pretty deliberate steps to rehab specific buildings, like where the Discovery Museum is and where the University of Maine Art Museum is and the building that Epic Sports is in.
Yeah.
The city pretty proactively tried to rehab those buildings to get viable things in there, and those have all been good cornerstones for downtown. And now there's all these residential units downtown on some of the upper floors.
Yep.
Even when I first got involved with City Council in 2011, 2012, there was a ton of vacancy downtown, especially in the upper floors on things. And there's still definitely some buildings here and there around that don't have much going on with them. But for the most part, a lot of the upper floors are occupied now. Some offices, there's artists doing creative things downtown. And then there's just this real push to have more residential downtown. That's been super good.
I hate to say it selfishly bums me out, because I wanted to buy some of those buildings, which I don't have the money for, and now they're all getting bought up, which is great. We're having the renaissance that Portland had about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's about time. And it's great we have mutual friends that are buying buildings and doing things, making like luxury apartments.
Yeah.
And that whole block on Exchange Street, now with Josh Gass doing Bangor Arts Exchange, which is amazing. I don't even know, anybody that's watching this, if you didn't know, we have a live music venue in downtown Bangor, Bangor Arts Exchange. And other things. They do other events as well. But once again, you picture downtown Bangor 10 years ago, like you said, you'd be like, do I want to go down there?
Yeah.
What?
I think Spo's is there this weekend, and that small to mid-size music venue was a missing piece for a long time. And that's a good example of people just making it happen. Yeah. And the city incentivized it over time and supported development and growth, but it was really private entrepreneurs and people that wanted to make something like that happen. It's been great. And some of that spillover, I think, is going to positively impact the surrounding neighborhoods, like this 1st to 3rd Street neighborhood I'm super high on, because there's going to be some of that spillover from Main Street, from downtown, in terms of residential, but people... Not everybody wants to have a car this day and age, and they still want to be close to things. So this is a great neighborhood to walk to all these places. So I think it's a good spot.
When I have tenants that are coming to check out apartments, that's the number one thing they're excited about. It's like, I can walk from one block to the waterfront concerts, to the restaurants, to everything.
Yeah.
And this was what used to be considered the ghetto of Bangor, was 1st through 3rd Street. Now it's a coveted area. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of Airbnb things happening in this neighborhood for... just let alone on concert nights. But I'm super high in this neighborhood, and with Bangor Savings Bank has this beautiful new campus there. They're going to employ several hundred people within a stone's throw of this neighborhood.
That building's incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be super positive, I think.
You just watched a segment of the show Chasms of the Mind. To see the full episode, click the link below.